What's going on, guys? What is going on? It is your boy Sydney here with you today. It is a Friday morning, and this morning I've taken a little time off work. You want to know why? Because I had some more pressing matters to attend to. One of those pressing matters being the finalization of my financial separation from my soon-to-be ex-wife. And look, we're still on good terms. As good a terms as a to-be divorced couple can be. And after signing the agreement this morning, I'm 90 days away from receiving a generous, although in the current property market it's not a huge amount, but in terms of how long it would take you to accumulate that wealth on an average wage, it's quite a generous amount. Now, I'm feeling over the moon about that. And it's my money, right? So I'm feeling over the moon about getting my money. And not all of it that I'm entitled to at that. And it got me thinking, can you imagine how excited divorcees to be must get about receiving a shit ton of money that isn't even theirs? No wonder women are motivated when they don't have anything and they don't have the capacity to make money because they're lazy, right? Those of them who are. No wonder those particular individuals that have no interest in working hard, that have no interest in bettering themselves, that have no interest in actually making sacrifices. No wonder those people get so excited when divorce time comes around and they're going to get a payout. Look at how excited I am, and I'm only getting a portion of my own money back. Imagine how excited they must be. Imagine if you won lotto, guys. Like, imagine if you bought a lottery ticket, right? Imagine if you walked to the news agency, I don't know, spent $35, $40 on a lottery ticket, and then you walked out of the news agent winning $500,000. Well, that's basically what divorce is to the modern woman, right? The non-traditional, the feminist, indoctrinated woman, right? The woman who don't need no man, the strong, independent woman. Well, you might not need no man, but that doesn't mean you don't want a man's money. And I will never get married again, ever. Doesn't matter how much you pay me. And let me tell you why. Because the more you pay me, the more I will lose in the divorce settlement when she decides to leave. Because in 70 to 80% of cases, it is the woman who decides to leave. And in more than 50% of marriages, there's a divorce within 10 years. All right, so if you get married, there's a coin flips chance. There's a coin flips chance. Right? Heads or tails. Divorce or stay together. But you know that the odds are stacked against you in terms of which side it lands on, right? So the side that you choose is most likely to not be the side that lands face up. Right? So you got over a 50% chance of losing, even though the coin is distributed 50-50 weight-wise. So there shouldn't be a reason why it's more or less likely to fail, but there is. And that lies the answer to why marriages fail most often, right? More than 50% of the time. The answer to that question lies in the demographics of the people who initiate those divorces. Sorry, who was that? I didn't hear you before, Sydney, telling me who it was that initiates the majority of divorces. Women. In 70 to 80% of the time. That's across the entire Western world. Cheers to that red pill, huh? Wow, the coffee's pretty good. It's been so long since I've bought myself a coffee. So long. I normally make coffees at work. You know? Even though... Now here's the interesting things for you guys. Here's something interesting for you to know about me in terms of financials. I'm earning the least amount of money I've earned from a job in the last 15 years. But yet, I'm saving more money than ultimately wasn't attracted to who she became after we got married. And what I think you'll find is that in terms of mutual separations, right, there's usually reasons why, well, in my case, I wanted to separate as well as her, but for different reasons, right? Like I kind of didn't want to separate, but there was also things that made me feel like I didn't want to be in the marriage anymore, but she just wanted the separation because her mangina brother told her to, and that's cool. She can have the separation, but the reality is, I didn't stop the sacrificing when we got married, right? But what I did do is when I got married, I became more and more of a simp, and this is the death knell for marriages, because the thing is, and this all comes together because we've become so feminized as a society. We've got female teachers teaching our boys. We've got single mothers raising sons, right? There's no, the amount of fathers in homes is diminishing by the day. The amount of men in teaching is almost non-existent, right? The amount of feminist bullshit that we have to pander to legally by way of legislation that's been passed to ensure vagina supremacy. Right? And it's just really quite nuts for me to watch this all unfold. Because I remember the days when men were men and women were women. Right? And I know plenty of women back in the days when women were women that were very, very successful in their own right. But now that you've got this feminist ideology out there, we've got this huge push for women to get shit that they haven't earned, because apparently the fact that I have a penis holds them back from achieving what they need to achieve. Right? And this is the lie. And they're saying they want the men. Oh, you know, I want a real man. I want a real man. Okay, what's a real man to you? Real man, he's over 6 foot. He's strong. He's muscly. He's brave. Oh, you mean all those characteristics that define masculinity, right? If you look in the dictionary, that's exactly what you'll find. Strong, muscular, facial and body hair, you know, physical characteristics that are essentially atypical of a quote-unquote man. Oh, but the fact that we don't agree with your feminist bullshit means that we're angry white males and we need to address our toxic masculinity. You mean the same masculinity that you actually get wet for? The same masculinity that actually turns you on, that makes you want to breed with those people? So you demonize that masculinity when it suits you. Right, and then when that masculinity goes away, you think, oh, where's all the good men gone? The irony of all of this crap that's going on at the moment with women's empowerment. How are you empowered by becoming a victim? Right? By putting yourself into a victim class. How are you empowered by complaining about someone that you've never met holding you back? How are you empowered and strengthened and built up by any of this? You're not, because the feminist elite are actually feeding you this bullshit. You're eating it up like fat kids love eating cupcakes, assuming they don't have a gluten intolerance. And this is where we're at, right? So and I might do a separate video on this later today, guys. I got called Sydney Weinstein yesterday. Sydney Weinstein, because I called out the fact in my video about the Miss America pageant that men like ass and titties. We love ass and titties, right? And I got called a Harvey Weinstein for it. And this person thought they were like gonna burn me. I thought it was the funniest thing I heard all day. It's the most moronic thing, right? Because I haven't actually held. See, the whole thing with Weinstein was, right, assuming that the allegations are correct, which, you know, they quite possibly were. And if they were, then people like Meryl Streep, who are Mrs. Me Too herself, are complicit in that, because she's been friends with Weinstein for years and she's in photos with him smiling and she's all happy. Oh, look at my friend Weinstein. Oh yeah, until you want a virtue signal. He's your friend? Backstabbing piece of shit. You knew about the casting couch. You knew about the casting couch all these years, Meryl Streep. And now you want to sit up and act all virtuous and pretend like you knew nothing about it, and pretend like he's just this monster that popped out of the woodwork and you can't believe it. Bullshit. And right, Dave Dog says, if I had to pay 40% to some ex-wife from a childless ex-marriage that lasted 4 years, I'd be devastated. Well, Dave, for me, it was 1.5 years, my marriage. I know that might be very short, but you know, I saw the red flags earlier. I saw how it was going to deteriorate, and you know, things obviously went south. Now, I did take a hit with my divorce payout, for sure. I took a hit of probably about $60,000 to $80,000. Right, and when we're talking about the amount of money that I'm talking about, right, it's almost half of the money that I was owed. Right, roughly about, yeah, almost half the money that I was owed, you know, entitled to. What is entitlement anyway? But here's the thing, guys. If I got the full amount of money, but I went back to being the simp that I was before I realized true female nature, and I discovered MGTOW and realized that going my own way was actually the best thing for me. What I can do, right? What I can do with the lesser amount of money that I'm receiving after this separation, what I can do with that money is far greater and far more powerful, and will yield me far more of a long-term net outcome than if I got the full amount and went back to being a simp. I'm so much more resourceful now. I don't waste money on shit. I've chucked away almost 3 full wheelie bins. I'm 6'1", and those wheelie bins come up to my rib cage. And I filled 3 of them up, at least, as a minimum. That doesn't even include giving stuff away. That doesn't even include the recycling. I've chucked out so much crap. It is, I still can't comprehend it. Oh, someone just got smashed by a red light camera. Yeah, that's right, Dave Dog. 60 to 80,000 Australian dollars payout for 1.5 years of marriage. Well, here was the thing, Dave. It's like, well, I can either go for the full amount, which is going to cost me another 30 grand in legal fees at least, right? Then we've got to pay, I'd probably have to pay out, I'd have to wear a share of the selling costs for the property that she's keeping, but she's paying me out, right? So she's giving me X amount of X dollars. But she keeps the property that we were living in together that I bought to cohabit with her in. So she's paying me out a fair chunk of the equity, but it just saves us paying the lawyer's fees for both sides, which would, come out of that. And then of course you've got the conveyancer for both sides, right, for the transfers of property, and you've got the conveyancer for the sale of the property. Then you've got the real estate agent's fees, and you got to fix stuff up, before you can sell it to get the maximum value. And then of course if you get a higher value, then you pay more real estate fees, and it takes more time. And it's just, what is it worth? Like, what could I be doing with my time to improve my future long-term trajectory that I wouldn't be doing if I was wasting time trying to get an extra net of maybe 20 grand? And I might not even get that, right? Imagine if I go to family court, the judge goes, all hail, court of vagina, fuck you, Sydney, you're getting nothing. Then where am I at, I was able to reach an amicable, relatively peaceful, mutual, legally binding agreement by way of having independent solicitor each, of our own choosing each. And we basically managed to, reach a, because I looked at what I was entitled to, and I went in straight away and I said, this is what I'm entitled to. Oh, I can't afford that. Well, maybe we have to sell the property. I don't want to sell the property. And of course, then the mother started saying, oh, you never loved my daughter. It's like, bitch, I've been with her for 3 years. Right? Her mother-in-law isn't a bitch, by the way. She's actually a really lovely person, but she's just so fucking blue pill. Right? She doesn't realize what I've had to go through. Right? She only sees, and I get it, right? She sees her beautiful daughter, and, yeah, but she's also a health professional that works in the cardiac field, and yet she's eating McDonald's and KFC and biscuits and chocolates and greasy food all the time. Have to say, now that we have separated for a couple of years, she has actually trimmed down a little bit. She's starting to cut down on the carbs. I think some people have actually said to her, well, I know he said that, you're saying that he wasn't attracted to you anymore, and he told you that, but maybe you had a part to play in that. Maybe there's things that you could improve about yourself to give yourself a better chance of meeting someone quality, and also to prolong your life capacity, because we love you and we want to see you healthy. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. I can't say. But what I can say is it's a very interesting situation. And I'm actually really glad, really, really glad that it didn't get nasty, because I know a lot of divorces do. And I attribute largely the fact that her mother is... Look, I played the guilt card with them. I said, my parents gave me this money, and, if you'd given Pauline money, if you'd given her money to go and buy property, and then I took that from her, that wouldn't be right. Right? So I flipped it around and made them feel guilty about taking money from me. Right? Because that was the only way they were going to understand the sacrifice that I'm making by taking a concession. Right? They initially came in at well under half of what I'll be getting now. Right? But I stuck to my full price. And we met in the middle. The parents realized that if they want their daughter to keep the house because she's emotionally attached to it, right, then she can't afford it on her own, and they're going to have to step in. If it matters that much to them to see her happy, and to see her emotions served the way she wants them served, then they're going to have to dip into their pockets. Just as simple as that. And she's going to have to take out a hell of a loan. I don't know, maybe at the end of the day it's worth it for them because, you know, they're doing everything for their kids anyway, right? They're building everything for their children. So why not help them out before they die? I don't know where the funds are coming from. I don't know the methodology behind it, but I'm pretty sure that a big part of it is that. Although there are a lot of parents who wouldn't do that for their daughter. There are a lot of parents that wouldn't be in a position to do that for their daughter, even if they wanted to. So the situation that then creates is the woman's obviously emotionally attached to the property, can't get the money from anyone else to help out. Okay, so how can I take this money from this man by force? Because he's not gonna make any concessions on his price, so I need to take it from him. And this is where divorces get nasty, men. This is where divorces get very nasty. Right, they get nasty when you get to that stage where they're backed into a corner and then the claws come out. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because, you know, they want the money from you, so they're all like, right? But then they're up in their smartphone like, you know, like posing for Instagram so they can attract the next motherfucker who's going to come along, so they can sink their claws and their teeth into him as well. Now look, I know that the particular woman that I married, that I'm now separated from, she's not the carousel type, although if she likes someone, of course, that's something she might share, right? And when I say not the carousel type, I mean not like the every weekend at a club picking up 2-3 different dudes. Right? She's not on Tinder every 2 seconds. And Dave just asked me what red flags did I see early in the marriage. So the red flags I saw were just sitting on the couch watching TV every single day after work. After we got Foxtel, which is like our pay TV here, the DVR was full up with series recordings within 24 hours of getting the box. Right? The other red flags were the fact that I was, you know, she was wanting to eat out all the time, going to McDonald's. You know, the red flag was that she didn't cook or iron. You know, I would drive like 45 minutes to an hour home from work, right? And I'd get home shortly after she had, because she would do an earlier shift because, you know, she was in the nursing profession. And, you know, she would say to me, oh, can you go to the shops and go and get this or some toilet paper or some cat food or whatever the case was, right? And here's the thing. The shopping center was right next to her work. Right? But yet she wouldn't. So then I'd have to go and do a 20-minute round trip after driving almost an hour home from work, after driving almost an hour there in the morning. Right? It's a 6-minute trip for her at the time she's traveling. Right? It's 10 minutes for me in peak hour. Right? So I'm spending over 2 hours a day in the car, and she can't even, in her 15 to 20 minute total round commute, right? She can't even stop in a shopping center that's on the way and use the common sense for something like that. Like, come on. You know, like, and you know, and I'm not going to hate on her for that. What I am going to do is let you guys know that if you are not with a woman who has got their shit together, who is autonomous, but who also understands you and your needs and respects those things, like, you know, that the kind of woman where she says, you know, I noticed that you only had one deodorant can left, so I bought you some more while I was on the way home. Right? Or I noticed that you know, your toothbrush was getting a bit tatty, so here's a new one. Just the notice the little things, you know. And Dave, no, I didn't have a trial of living together before the marriage. That was actually my biggest mistake. Before I got married, you know, whenever I'd go see it, and this was like a mind fuck for me. And it was only later that I clicked and I was like, oh man, how did I not see this? And you know, when you're with someone and things are working the way that they work, you're kind of blinded to it. Because when I was at home with my parents, you know, my mum would always cook, so there's always food somewhere, you know. It's like you don't expect there to not be food somewhere because, well, there's always food, fridge. And then when I'd go over to her house, there was always food. And then when we moved in together, there was no food. And you know, look, and this is why I'm taking some partial responsibility, guys, because it was my bad. You know, I didn't actually think about it. I didn't really click to the fact that I just didn't really click to the fact that I actually needed to, you know, like, she was working as well. That's the thing, right? She's working as well. So she's got to work, and plus all these other things, you know. I don't think it is reasonable of me to turn around and go, no, that was bullshit, that there was no food on the table every single day because fuck you, I'm a man and you're a woman, right? I don't think that's fair. I need to take some accountability for my choices and my actions and my decisions and my lack of self-awareness. Right? And by taking responsibility for those thoughts, for those choices, for those ideas, you know, that defines me as a person, even more so than I am already self-defined. Let me just quickly get some cash out of this ATM, guys. Just on the way to my mechanic, so that I'll pop in past the Ready ATM outside in Bankstown. Bear with me a moment. Withdrawal. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. Give me that cash. So yeah, guys, I really should have lived with her for a year first. If I had lived with her for a year first, then, well, I wouldn't have got married and I wouldn't have lived with her, right? Or if we'd gotten engaged, then I probably would have called it off, to be honest. It's not that we don't get along as people. It's just that, you know, it didn't work out. And this is the thing, guys. You've got to know that if you go into a marriage, you're already 50% doomed straight off the bat, right? 50% of the time, it's almost completely out of your control. There's nothing you could have done if you're trying. And unfortunately, Dave Dog, I had history of a couple of girlfriends being greedy bitches and saying, well, you know, you're my boyfriend, you know, you're supposed to pay for everything. And so that's why I wasn't too worried about her, because she was always pretty good in that respect. You know, if I paid for something, I chose to pay for it. She never expected me to pay for anything until it was time to buy a house after we were married. That was fun. That was fun, being told that the 3-bedroom double-story brick house that you bought because she didn't want an apartment wasn't big enough, and she wanted one of the big houses down the road that cost twice as much. Yeah, it was fun. Real fun. But you know, look, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm just grateful that this process is behind me. Guys, and can I just say, especially if any of you are in Sydney and you need a good solicitor for a separation, my solicitor is a pit bull. He's expensive, right? But he gets shit done. Probably cost me between sort of 7 and 10 grand all up to get all of this sorted. But, you know, I didn't get completely reamed, you know, and everything was basically on my terms. I made everything that I decided, I got. So I was happy with that. Anyway, man, go MGTOW. Don't let yourself get dicked over. And please, 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 look after yourselves. Please be smart. Please be wary. If there are things you see, red flags, where it looks like it could be the tip of an iceberg or it could be nothing, always assume that it's the tip of an iceberg. Always assume that. Because if you don't assume that it's the tip of the iceberg, and it is the tip of the iceberg, you are finished. Finished. Right? Notice how, like, I cut, and then I cut again, then I cut again, just in case it didn't work the first 2 times. I'm trying to convey this so strongly, guys. So important. Don't get married. Focus on yourselves. Don't waste money on women. All right? Don't waste money on them. Look, it's okay to, you know, buy the occasional drink or do the occasional thoughtful little thing. And I do mean little, right? And when I say little, I mean it could be, you know, if you're dating someone, don't go and buy them a massive bunch of flowers for Valentine's Day, right? Don't go spending hundreds on flowers and Chanel bags and fucking a Hermes clutch wallet. You know, don't go spending thousands. I don't even buy anything on Valentine's Day, because that'll be the ultimate shit test, right? If you don't buy them shit on Valentine's Day and they're still down for you, then that's probably a pretty good sign that they actually really like you. But if they get pissed about that, red flag. Red flag. If they get pissed that you don't spend lots of money on them on their birthday, red fucking flag. If they get pissed, they don't get a sweet ass big Christmas gift and a holiday to the Bahamas for Christmas, big red flag. I just got an idea for a mug. I've been trying to get some inspiration. I'm gonna make a mug that says "Love don't cost a thing," but I'm gonna have the S in cost as a $sign. Love don't cost a thing, but divorce does. Marriage does. Common law marriage also does. You said it right, Jennifer Lopez. Even though you already had the money. And this is the thing, right? Women who already have money typically don't care about money, but most women don't already have money. Most women don't already have money on the scale that they want to have money to get what it is that they want to buy. Right? And that's why most of them will come after you for everything in a divorce. It'd be interesting to see what your co-worker lady thinks of all this, Jason Speratos, because, you know, and this is something, if your co-worker lady is still listening, I'd like to say this to her. a lot of women who don't know what men going their own way is all about, who don't know what the MGTOW philosophy is about. And this is a reminder for all you guys. MGTOW philosophy, that is men going their own way, is essentially a concept, a framework, if you will, on which you guys have a massive opportunity to build and create something for yourself, right? You have an enormous opportunity to say no to wasting money on things that you don't need to spend money on, and actually putting that money towards creating a property portfolio or a share portfolio or a cryptocurrency portfolio, right? Just rather than being a sucker, you know? And make sure that your life, right, is not just a lifetime of breathing in someone else's air. Make sure that the net product of your life is a legacy, right? An example for others to follow, right? Leave something behind for the people that matter to you, whether those be children, whether they be your siblings, whether they be a philanthropic organization that you choose to support, right? Make sure that you educate yourself on female nature. I did. And that's why I'm here bringing you all this wisdom. So guys, look, as men going your own way, look after yourself. You know, I'm going to share one other little gem with you, and I'm going to maybe talk about this another day in more detail. But a buddy of mine, he's got about 10 grand saved up in the bank. He's actually got a girlfriend who this year, because she'd been going to the gym, and because she'd been looking after herself, which she should be doing anyway of her own accord, he paid for her registration. He paid for her registration. Right? I was like, dude, why the fuck are you paying for her registration? Let her pay for her own shit. He goes, oh yeah, but she deserved it. I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? You've got a car loan. You're about to buy a bike. You're about to get a bike loan. You got 10 grand cash in the bank, and you're spending money on paying for your girlfriend's registration because she went to the gym. You know the funny thing, right? This guy goes to the gym. He trains hard. This guy is a ripped motherfucker. Right? Girls love his body. But when he starts talking, he's too much. Oh, it's like, I'm still trying to get it through to him that he cares too much about what women think. And I hope you're listening to this, bro. It's the same guy that was the cameraman for my video, The Importance of Brotherhood, which I strongly suggest you go and check out. You will love it. Right? So, I don't know, he just doesn't know any better at this point in time. Hopefully that will change very soon. But when that does change, he's going to be much better off. Right, he was saying to me, oh, you know, I don't want to pay my car off because then I have no money left, right? It's like, well, look at your net outcome, right? Oh, hang on. Fuck's sake. Check this bullshit out on the back of this bus. Check that bullshit out. How about no to violence, period? How about just no to violence? Virtue signaling, fucks. Man, those love goggles are not cheap. And Mr. Aussie accent, I would say that he would know that she would know that he has 10,000 because he won't shut up about it. And she used to work at a bank, so he talks to her about, you know, what to do with the money and, you know, how the banks work and whatnot. You know, it's honestly so sickening though, that bus I just showed you, how they've got just constantly the same message, right? Constantly. Guys, we're about to go into the shopping center here. And you know what that means. Has anyone got an emoticon that tells me what that means? Because I know there's some of you in here who knows what's up when I go into a shopping center. Exactly, MGTOW investor. You know what? Oh, hang on, here we go. There we go. It took me all of 10 seconds to find the first one. Here we go. I've found the mother lode. In fairness, Americans do tend to be a little bit more obese than Australian women as a collective, but still, oh, here we go. Really? Fucking putting this bullshit on kids' shirts. All this feminist crap. Let's see what else we got. Well, this is actually true. It's cool to be kind. I like that. Oh man, this coolest little shirt for little dudes. Right? Coffee cup for scale. So that's how kids manage to hide so well, dressing up in camouflage and shit. Okay, where I need to get myself a beanie. Sydney needs a beanie. Where am I going to get that from? Maybe. Nope, not that section. Guys, look what I found. Notice how it says mama and me, not my parents and me, or my dad and me, or my mum and my dad and me, just mama and me. Bit of an interesting little observation there. Man, these are... They must be in hibernation here. They must be hibernating because it's winter. I'm not seeing too many of what I went hunting for in here. Exactly, Mr. Aussie accent. Mama and the future school shooter. And look, this is this is the really sad thing that's the case. Whenever there's a school shooting, right, the feminists always come out and they say, oh, this is toxic masculinity. Men aren't talking about their feelings, so they're shooting up schools. And, you know, we need to redefine masculinity to be healthier and, you know, really, so we've got good men. But exactly what it is that you say you want, you don't want when it comes to a romantic mate. Right, so you want everyone else but your sexual partner to be the way that you think everyone should be. Why? Because you don't know what you want, because you have no clue. Oh my, guys, check this out. People of Kmart. We found the mother load. Oh, we are hunting. And yes, men do have different mental health needs than women, which is sad. We can't work towards it more. The reason we can't work towards that more is because men have been forced out of the humanities. They've been demonized out of universities. So now you've only got female psychologists, right? Almost zero male psychologists. And because women don't understand how men work, right? And I actually cracked the whole code, right? I realized why there's this whole concept of toxic masculinity, right? And I want you to think about this very carefully, guys. Tell me, what happens? What happens when women don't talk about their feelings, when they're feeling upset or frustrated or hopeless? Right? They explode. Oh, hang on. Hopefully we can get back. We back now? So, look, if women can't talk about their feelings, then they basically lose the plot, right? They get angry, they get upset, they get pissed off, and they blow up, right? They have outbursts. So they think, right? These social scientists think that men work exactly the same. And they think that all of these violent outbursts by way of, say, for example, school shootings and whatnot, are as a direct result of men not talking about their feelings, hence toxic masculinity. But they don't realize that men are not the same as women, and women are not the same as men. We don't think the same, we don't process thoughts, emotions, and feelings the same. And for men, right, we don't actually really particularly want to talk about our problem. In fact, if anything, talking about our problem makes things worse sometimes. We just want to fix the cause. Oh, here we go. Here's another bullshit t-shirt. There we go. Girl power. Blog your heart out. Yeah, so you want prepubescent girls blogging and going online and being on social media. Yeah, fucking great idea, retards. Just unbelievable. Let's see what else I can find. Here we go. Another one. No shirts that says my dad rocks. None. Zero. Mum is the best. And look, it's shirts for little boys. Right? You think this agenda isn't here, guys? Oh, it's in play. You best believe that. You better believe it. Right? Look. Not one of these shirts. Not one of them. So girl power, blog your heart out, right? And then mum is the best. My mum rocks. And that's great. That's great and all. But where is the girl's shirt saying my dad is the best? Huh? Where's the boy's shirt saying guy power? Right? This is what I'm talking about. And this is why I come to you guys. Because it's a long journey to understand what's really going on. Okay? Right? It's a long journey to understand what's really going on. But you need to understand that it's here, it's in effect, and it is creeping further and further every day. You've just seen it with your own eyes. You've seen the difference between the men and the boys, right? And then of course we've got this doozy. So we've got girl power, telling them to blog when they're young. Girls rule the world. Girls can rule the world. What else we got? So we got girls can rule the world and girl power for girls. And we've got my mum's the best and my mum's the best for boys. Nothing about dads. Nothing about guys having power. It's all about vagina. And given that women control 85% of spending decisions, well, of course they're going to buy the shirts that serve their view of the world based on their neurology, which is not the same as that of a man. It's as simple as that. MGTOW investor. Wow, is that a female? I believe it is. I believe it is, and it's good that they actually can, you know, and this is the thing, right? It's good that this message is out there so that women can actually start to also understand why it is that us guys are going, fuck that, we're out of the plantation, right? We're done with this. All right? So, and you know, I've got moderators in this chat, so you better know that, you know, if there are people that are playing up and trolling in this channel, that they're going to get zapped real quick. Right, in respect to those, to the very, very few women that I do have as my subscribers that actually watch the stuff and understand it, that I'm not attacking women because they have vaginas. I'm attacking what has been enabled to happen over the years. What you know, women are being enabled to do to men, right, when they feel like it. Right, when it's convenient for them, when it benefits them, right? So, anyway, guys, my coffee's getting cold, and I've been going for about 55 minutes almost now. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it if you haven't already. And it is absolutely true that it's the stupid laws that create lazy women, and the stupid laws are created by stupid beta males that just want to protect women. Catch you in the next stream. Peace.